Welcome to See Africa TV. Please like, subscribe, and share as you watch. Burkina Faso arrests NGO workers over alleged spying. Burkina Faso's military government has arrested 8 employees of a Dutch-based humanitarian group, accusing them of spying and treason. The detainees include 3 Europeans, 1 Malian, and 4 Burkinabe nationals, among them the organization's country director and deputy. According to officials, the group allegedly gathered and shared sensitive security information with foreign powers, which authorities say could endanger Burkina Faso's national security. Security Minister Mohamed Osana claimed the NGO secretly collected classified data and passed it on to outsiders. However, the organization, International NGO Safety Organisation, Inso, has firmly denied all accusations. Inso representative Anthony Neal told the BBC that the group's Burkina Faso director was first detained in July, when the organization was initially suspended, and the 7 others were later arrested. "We are doing everything possible to ensure their safe and immediate release," Neal said. Authorities suspended Inso on the 31st of July for 3 months, accusing it of collecting sensitive data without permission. The NGO, which has operated in Burkina Faso since 2019, focuses on providing safety information to humanitarian workers in conflict zones. On Tuesday, the government alleged that Inso continued to operate secretly despite the suspension, holding meetings and collecting information. Neal rejected this claim, insisting that all data collection stopped after July 31st, though staff remained in the country to handle the ongoing detentions and administrative duties. In a statement, Inso stressed that all the information it collects is non-confidential and used solely to enhance the safety of humanitarian staff. The group added that Burkinabe authorities had long been aware of its mission and activities. Neal said the NGO had attempted to engage with the government to clear up any misunderstandings, noting that safety information was crucial amid a surge in violence against aid workers globally. Burkina Faso, under Captain Ibrahim Traore, has had a strained relationship with Western nations and organizations since the 2022 coup. The junta cut military ties with France and has since leaned on Russia for security cooperation against Islamist insurgents. Meanwhile, human rights groups accuse the regime of widespread abuses, including targeting civilians, silencing critics, and tightening control over freedom of expression. The arrest of the NGO workers is seen as the latest sign of the junta's growing distrust toward Western-linked organizations operating inside the country. This is a very revealing and significant development, and it shows Burkina Faso's military government is drawing a firm line against Western interference disguised as humanitarian work. Let's break it down clearly and fairly. 1. The heart of the matter. Burkina Faso's junta didn't just arrest random NGO workers. They specifically accused a Dutch-based organization, the International NGO Safety Organisation, INSO, of spying and treason. That's a heavy charge, meaning the government believes these people were gathering sensitive information about the country's security and sharing it with foreign powers. Now that's not a small accusation, because in countries under heavy insurgent threat, like Burkina Faso, any data about military movement, security patterns, or troop logistics can be deadly if it leaks out. So from the junta's point of view, this is a matter of national security, not just NGO work. 2. A pattern we've seen before. This isn't new. Across Africa, Mali, Niger, and now Burkina Faso, there's a growing distrust toward Western NGOs and aid organizations. Why? Because these groups often come under the banner of humanitarian work, but are later found gathering intelligence, mapping security areas, or influencing political narratives. For example, in Mali, similar accusations led to expulsion of multiple Western-linked groups. In Niger, the new government also reviewed foreign NGO operations after the coup. Now Burkina Faso is taking the same route, protecting its sovereignty. It's all part of a larger trend. Francophone African countries are reclaiming control from Western interests that for decades acted like silent governors under the name of aid. 3. Why this is bigger than it looks. If Inso's activities truly crossed into collecting sensitive data, then this could be espionage under another name. But even if not, it's clear that the Burkinabe government has lost all trust in Western-linked organizations. And you can understand why. After France withdrew and Russia stepped in, Western media and NGOs suddenly began to push narratives about abuses and suppression under Captain Ibrahim Traore. But the same Western agencies said little when pro-French governments were killing their own people under foreign command. So the hypocrisy is striking. The NGO's defense Inso claims that their data wasn't confidential, only about safety alerts for aid workers. The government was aware of their operations. They had already stopped collecting data since their suspension in July. That might all be true, but from the government's perspective, why were they still meeting and coordinating after suspension? It's like being told to stop filming and still keeping your camera on standby. It raises suspicion, especially in a security-sensitive state like Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso's position in context. Let's not forget that Captain Ibrahim Traore's administration has been fighting both terrorists and Western pressure simultaneously. He's trying to rebuild state control, strengthen alliances with Russia, and promote African self-reliance. Western NGOs, media, and governments have increasingly targeted him with negative reports, painting him as authoritarian. But those same Western powers supported puppet leaders who destroyed Africa's independence for decades. So to the junta, these arrests are not just about 8 individuals. It's a statement. We will not allow foreign hands to spy on or manipulate our struggle. Burkina Faso is protecting its sovereignty, but it must also ensure due process and transparency to avoid playing into Western narratives of dictatorship. The government has every right to defend national security, but it must also clearly prove its case. Otherwise, it risks giving its critics ammunition to say, "See, they're arresting innocent aid workers." Still, this marks another bold move in Africa's ongoing awakening, where nations like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are saying, "No more secret colonialism." 7. The bigger picture. We're witnessing a new Africa, an Africa tired of being monitored, manipulated, and lectured. And if these NGO arrests are indeed justified, it's a reminder to Western organizations that African soil is no longer an open field for intelligence gathering. Burkina Faso's stance may anger the West, but it resonates with millions of Africans who are fed up with foreign meddling in the name of help.